Okay, we are going to go through how to use blocks, and of course anytime you need to do any editing, make sure you turn the editing on. And the first thing we need to look at is if you want to add or take away any blocks. Change the numbers, so you go to Settings, Edit, Settings, and of course please do not change the name or the shortcut name, but if you scroll down, and number of weeks or topics is where you can change the number of blocks that you have on your page. Everything else is preset and it should be fine. And of course, if you make any changes to a page, don't forget to save the changes. Okay, and then you should see the number of blocks have changed. Okay, now we're going to add an image or text at the top of your block. Sometimes you may want to divide each block into a chapter or unit and have a heading for each. The very top treat that like a heading. It's not where you're going to add your resources, your links, or your files. You can if you want to, but you're not able to move those around. So we're just going to treat this as a heading is what I'm going to go through. So if you click on the pencil, it will bring up your summary block, and in this text box is where you're going to add text and an image. So if I was to type a title, and of course you can format it, you can bold, change the size, make it large, you can even change the color if you would like. I could center that, and so that would give you a title if you would care to. Now we're going to add an image. Now, one thing is if you copy and paste the image, it will go directly to the URL, and if students are at home, for a heading it may not make that big a difference, but if it's an image you need your students to look at and you just copy and paste, then students, it may be blocked on their netbooks. So the best thing to do would be to go and find your image, right mouse click, and then save image as, and we're going to save it to a flash drive, your desktop, wherever you would like to put that, and it will automatically save it as a JPEG. Okay, then I will come here, put the cursor where you want the image to go, click on the icon Insert Edit Image, find or upload an image. Then I will retrieve that where I saved it. In my case, I put it on my desktop. And then I will open, upload, and there it is. Okay, and then I will insert. Sure, you want to do it without a caption, you can, you don't have to. Then if you need to resize, this is where you will resize. If I need to make my screen larger so that I can see what I'm editing, especially if it's a large image, if I come up here to the top, toggle full screen mode, then it will open the entire screen, and you'll notice everything else is hidden. So I would click on my image, and then I could drag my corner and make it whatever size I want. So I'm happy with that. You can also input media, multimedia if you would like, but these are just the basics. Of course you can highlight a lot of different features just like you would on editing any text. So I'm going to go back to this mode, and of course like before, if you make any changes, make sure you save at the bottom of the page. Takes a second to open. Let me go to the very bottom of my page. And so here is my title, my heading for block 18. And this is again, this is where I would not put URLs because if you like to rotate, put the most current at the top, you will not be able to move. So hopefully that helps. Now we are going to add files, which is under Add a Resource. We're also going to look at folders, label, page, and URL, and point out some of the differences. Some of these you can do the same thing in, it just depends on how you want it to look and when it's presented to the students. So let's go to the file. Now, if you are using Google Docs, then you will use a URL, and I will go through that. I'm not going to go through how to set up Google Docs collections, but I will point out how to capture that URL. So we're going to add a file which is exactly like Moodle 1. So you're going to give it a file name. And what's new, you have to give it a description. You can type in whatever the file is or what the students need to do with the file. You can also click on highlight the description and add another file, add to a link, add to a URL. You can also put images like we did in our heading, but I'm going to leave it as is. Then we're going to come down and we're going to add files. Now here you can create a folder. So let's go ahead and create a folder. Name it whatever you would like. And so here's the folder. Now you can add files and it will be outside the folder. If I click on the folder, you will notice the path changes. So all the files, new folder. So now if I add any files, it will be dropped automatically into the new folder that I named for my files. But I'm going to go back to the files, and here's the folder again. So let me add a couple of files, and you do as before. You browse to wherever you have your files and you upload, and it will immediately go here. Let me add another file. Now you notice there's a pull down menu. You have some options. Let's say that I forgot to open the folder where I wanted to put one of these two files. I would come to the pull down and I can select move. Now I will double click, the directions are at the top, and you'll notice that now here is my file. New folder for files have been selected, and now I will move. And you'll notice my path now says files, and new folder for files is what I created, and there's the file that I moved into the new folder. If I come back to the beginning of the path, you'll notice here's my one file I left outside the folder. If I click on the folder, here's the one I put inside. Now, just like before, if I need to replace this file and I need to delete, I would come to my pull down again, and now I would delete this particular file. And if I go to my path, here's my folder, and I still have the one file. Okay, and you can add as many files as you like. The download all seems to be having some problems. It says it's not accessible, and of course you can create more folders. Now, for the students to display, you could leave as automatic. You can embed within where the students would see the document or a portion of the document. I always choose a new window. Sometimes you can also force a download, but if you open as a new window, when they click on the file, it will open a new tab at the top. So scroll down, you do not need to change anything else. Let me save and return to the course. Okay, as soon as it opens up. Now, here's my, let me open the eye here. Here is my file name. You notice it's a Word document. It can be any kind of document like before. Let me go and change so that I know what the students see. So under settings, switch role to, and I want to see what the student sees. Okay, let me go to the bottom. Now when I click on file name, you'll notice that it opened a new tab. Now it's going to ask me to open or save the file. So I'm going to open with Word. And here's the file. You notice it's a read-only file, which means, like before, if you upload to Moodle and you have a typo or a correction, you need to upload the new file and delete the old. So I'm going to clear out of this, and so that's how you would add a file. Okay, now moving on to make a folder, it is going to be the same as the file, so you can go either direction. If you want to upload a file, then you change your mind, make a folder, that is fine. If you want to start with the folder, I'll quickly go through this, but it is the same as the previous video I just made. So if we add a folder, like before, we'll need to give it a name, so folder name. We need to give it a description, that's required. And then we create our folder. So you'll have it just looks a little different on the front of the page. So I could have a folder in a folder, which would be the case here. Or now I can add some files. So it does look the same, it's just how you want to organize. And I will show you the difference in just a moment. There we go. Okay, and again you have the same choices on your files if you would like to move, rename even, or delete. So let me return to the course. Now you'll notice that it does look different. I have a folder name, and so I have one folder, and then here's my file. Now if I need to edit the files, rename, or whatever the case may be, then I would click on the edit button and it would take me back to the original setup page. And if I go to the file name and click on that, it would then open the file, and then I would have, if I had anything in it, I would have folders underneath. So I know that some people wanted to create folders, so I would say the best to do would be to individual files. I would create under resource file. If I had several files that pertain to a particular topic, I would then create a folder and put the files in it. That's just a suggestion on how to organize. And then of course, to rearrange your block, you'll notice there are green arrows pointing right now to the right. And in this case, you can move them, categorize them. So let me move this over. So I could put kind of a hierarchy tree to where I'd have the folder name and there are files in it, or an individual link to a specific file. The other nice feature about Moodle 2, you'll notice there are two rings here. You can duplicate files and labels. So if you use the same file, like I use QNotes, and I have that for every unit, rather than uploading it several times, if I hit duplicate and then follow the directions, continue, and if I want to change the way that it's written, or let's say that you have a duplicate and it's a URL, you don't want to retype everything, then I can edit the new copy and put in a new URL. I could keep it the same. If it's a label and I don't want to redo the formatting, then I could create a duplicate and then edit the text without reformatting. So if I return to the course, I will have two files that are exactly the same, including what I uploaded. And so I have a duplicate of the file names. And now I can drag this to another block if I need to. Okay, so hopefully this makes sense on a little bit of organization. So again, I would say file name for individual files. If you want to create a subfolder, you can do that within. If you want to have a folder on your main page in a particular block, then I would create a folder, the name would be displayed, and then within the folder put the files that pertain to that. Now we're going to construct a label, and for this you can put various images into your label, and within your block is just another way that you can divide. So each block, at least how I set it up, each block is a chapter or unit, and then within the block these are images, these are just horizontal bars, these are images that I got off of Google, and this is a link to my Google Docs. So I've always followed the same format so students know in each block where they can go to be directed. And then these are also labels, just text, whereas these are images. So to make it go faster, I use my duplicate and then just retyped. And so in this case I had a video lecture and then Q notes, and then another video if they just wanted to watch. It was optional. So you can see on this case I did a copy of the Q notes. So that's just one way to organize. Here are my assignments, and within the assignments this is another label, just changing the color, and these are my websites that pertain to this particular chapter. Okay, so let's go ahead and go down and go through and make a label. So I have my heading, I have a couple of files, and what I want to do is make a generic label. So on this we're going to put files, and I would highlight. I can change the size, make it nice and big so they can read it. I want to highlight it, and I think I want to change the color maybe to a blue. Okay, now I can also center this if I would like. If I wanted to add an image, just like I did before, make sure that you save the image. Do not copy and paste from the internet. Again, students may not be able to access it. So if I was to get an image, I will get the same one I had before. So this part is no different than setting up your heading. And again, I can resize. Let's say I don't like it on top, so if it's still selected, I can delete that or cut it and then repaste it down below. Well, that's not too bad. If I want them side by side, they won't be the same. I can just put my cursor in front of my image and then hit my backspace. Maybe I instead want that in front. I like how that looks. Now it does do something kind of weird. It highlights it, but I can turn that off and make it white. So if I like that, again, you could put within the label, you can highlight, and so I can even highlight this image to go out to a possible file if I wanted that. So I'm happy with that. Okay, so even though it looks the same, this is now a label. Now, what I can do with this label that I cannot do with the heading, you'll notice it does not have the choices of duplicate or move. I could, because remember it always puts everything at the bottom, I can move this between these two, folder and file name. If I created one and I like how it looks, I want to use it in every block. So let's say I come up here. Okay, so let's say I want to continue using this video lecture clip. I would hit duplicate, continue, and then I can either edit if I want to change what it said, but it's an image so I cannot change it. So I'm going to return to course, and then I can move that image between blocks of the copy I just made. So that is label. One thing you can do with a label, and to show you, here's the copy right here. So I can drag that down, just hold on to it and put it down. So I need that down here in my next chapter block, and so there it is. And again, this is just a horizontal bar treated as an image, so you will save that. I just went to the internet and googled horizontal bars, and you can change the color, and then I copied and pasted to divide up my blocks. So hopefully that makes sense on how you can organize within a block. Okay, now I'm going to walk you through how to either embed or pop-up window with a worksheet for the URL. So we're going to select URL. We need to give it a name. So website biomes. And then in the description is where you could possibly put a worksheet if you want them to complete a worksheet, and any directions. Okay, I do want to make it big enough so they don't say they didn't see it. So let's make that 24. And then I want to highlight whatever word or the entire statement, which will be my hyperlink for the worksheet. So then I will insert the link, and I'm going to go and find a worksheet. Again, this is wherever you have it saved. Upload file. Now on this, I tend to choose the target, change that. If I open in this window, it's going to take the place of where the Moodle is at in that tab. And if students accidentally close that, they close Moodle. So I always try to make that a new window, so that way they're not getting frustrated by closing the window by mistake. So here's a change color. This is my hyperlink to my worksheet. Now I need to go and get the URL. I can either choose and browse through this direction, or biomes, and I'm going to go to the website. I'm going to click and highlight the URL. Once it's highlighted, I either can hit Control-C for copy, or I can right mouse click and hit copy. Then I will go back to my editing URL page, put my cursor there. I can either hit Control-V as in Victor to paste, or right mouse click and paste. Now that's pretty straightforward. The options is how do you want the web page to be displayed in Moodle. Automatic, what it will do is it will replace the Moodle page. So it will open up, and if students again closes that page, that website, it too closes Moodle. If I choose embed, and then I come down and save that, I'm going to save and display so I can see what it looks like. It will actually create a window within the Moodle page, and below it is my worksheet, which when I click on that, it will allow me to open that in Word. You can resize this if you go HTML, but some of the limitations is not being able to see the entire website page. And I can click on different links within that page, and it would again open up within Moodle. So let me go back, and I'm going to go to a new window, save and display. Now here's my worksheet or any directions. So if I click on that, it'll open Word for the worksheet. If I click on the URL, it will open a new tab and take me to the website. So this is one way to see the entire screen, and then I'm still have access to Moodle. So here's my biomes link, and let me edit. There's my worksheet, there's my URL. Now let me go to open is the same as automatic, so it will open up the link in Moodle. Okay, pop-up, this is where I can change the size of my window, so you just need to play with the numbers. Sometimes I reduce this by half just to ensure that it does fit on the netbooks. So I would do 320 and 250 possibly, and you can do the same thing with videos also. So I'm just going to this time save and return to course. And now when I click on my biomes link, now it's a pop-up, but I'm not able to see my worksheet. So kind of have to decide, if you don't have a worksheet, then you can just do a pop-up. So I would say that probably if it's a short article, embed, but maybe a new window would be your best bet, just so you can have access to both the worksheet and they're able to read the entire URL or website. The last topic I'm going to cover under blocks, under add a resource, would be page. And so I thought I would start off first by showing you an example of how I use the page. If you go to this one link, this is a page, you notice it has a white piece of paper. This is where you can put all of your videos, and they would actually be embedded, and I'm not going to go in depth. I will show you a little bit under how to embed a video. But here you can add directions, you can put headings, you can even do adding worksheets and links, and this is embedding the video. Sometimes you will need to resize, so this is just another teacher that I've embedded from YouTube. So it can play as usual. The students can enlarge like any YouTube video. The blue lines are just horizontal bars, and I've also embedded videos that I've created, and you can see you can add several videos all in one place. So that is one way to use a page. So let me go back and let's actually create a page. Okay, so resource, page. Now you will notice, of course, we need to give it a name, so videos. Description, it is required, but this students will not see. So sometimes I just put a period or something for myself. What they will see on the page is where it says content, page content. This is where I'm going to build my videos, my headings, anything that I want to display on this continuous running page. So I find it easier to go ahead and make it full screen mode. So I'm going to put video title, and again you can edit, change colors, change size, any way that you would like to format that. Center. Now put the cursor where you're going to embed the video. Now in this process you will need to use the HTML because we have to embed a command or control. So different options. If you have your own YouTube channel, you can see this is my channel, and I've got some videos that I've created and uploaded, and then there are other videos that I've gotten off of YouTube. Now there is one thing you need to be aware of, and you need to check before you ever preview a video. One, is it an educational video? That is the only kind that students can see on their netbooks. That's the only thing that is unblocked. So before I ever watch the video, I will scroll down and find Show More. Under Category, you'll notice this says News and Politics. Students would not be able to watch that on their netbooks. So I'm not even going to take the time to watch that video. So this one's on Ecosystems and Biomes. So if I do Show More, that is under Education. That is the only category. Even if it's Science and Technology, they will not be able to view only the category of Education. So let's say I want to embed this one. So I'm going to come up to where it says share or embed video. Now I could use this URL, but I want to embed it onto the page that I'm creating for my resource. So I'm going to click embed, and it's going to automatically highlight a code for me. This is the HTML code. So I can right mouse click and hit copy, or I can hit Control C. So I've copied it, it's on my clipboard. I'm going to go back to the Moodle editing page, check that my cursor's in the place I want to put the video. Now if I hit paste, it's just going to paste that code. So I'm going to go HTML. Seems a little overwhelming. Okay, now you'll notice there's a lot of code here. Don't worry about that, but see my cursor blinking? Okay, what it's done is it's moved to the top, which means it's going to go in front of the title I typed. It says video title. So I'm going to go to the very end and click my cursor, and this P just means pages. Now I'm going to paste that command. You don't have to do anything with it. If you need to adjust the size, this seems a little overwhelming, but at the bottom of this command, this embed command, there's a width and there is a height. And if you feel the video is being cut off, again, you can reduce this by half is usually what I do. So I will make that 853 to 483, just highlight it, and 480 to 280. Sometimes it's just fine. And then I'm going to go update. Now it looked like the video is not there. Sometimes it shows up as a black screen, sometimes it doesn't even show up. So I'm going to go back. It's a little deceiving. Some will show and some will not. But if I go to save and display, there's my video screen. Even though when I pasted the HTML, the screen was blank. So don't be concerned, and you can click on the HTML button and see that the command is there. And then I can always go back, and if I want to edit this, I'm going to come all the way over to settings, and you see it says page module administration. I'm going to hit edit settings. Now it takes me back to my page. It's just in a different location, and see it's still not showing up, but it is there. Now if I want, let's say I want to make this word my worksheet. I would highlight the word, and I want to open that in a new window. I'm going to go out and find my worksheet that's linked to the word, just like I've done before. Insert, change colors. Now let me go to the bottom, hit save and return to course. Here's my videos. Normally just a white piece of paper. It's a page, so when I click on videos, here's the video, and I can test that it runs. And of course I can make it full screen if I want to. And then here is my worksheet that I can open up that's separate. So hopefully that helps. It's a very quick little intro to embedding YouTube videos. The key is the category has to be education for the students to view it. And then if you like everything centered, you can just grab a hold and in edit mode and highlight everything and hit the center, or it can be justified right, whatever you prefer.